If you are not conditioning your communication skills, under stress, under pressure, you will not reach your high potential, but you will fall back to your conditioning. So, for example, you go in a pitching competition or you go to raise money for your startup. Under stress, the environment put you in this situation where you have practiced hundreds of times your pitch deck, you know all of the numbers, but the pressure brings not the best from your experience, of course. So you go, you forget your numbers, you forget why you exist, what's the purpose of your startup, what's the value proposition, what's the market, what's the numbers, and you start to rumble to o, e, a. You have to compose yourself, but you cannot compose yourself, and you are leaking energy, and at the end of the day, you have to go through hundreds of pitches in order to just play with the number game, not because you pitched and you performed brilliantly and you were on the level of your startup idea, service or product, but just because you were just hitting the numbers, and eventually by just luck you end to your founder eventually, but you are losing the timing, the effort, the energy, and the lost opportunities. So the reason about this is you are not conditioned, you are not trained, you are not prepared, you haven't done your work. So when you go through these extraordinary experiences, you are not ready, and your nervous system hijacks your body, and your voice and your body language and your storytelling skills go into the rubbish. Another example, you are invited in a live TV show where you have 5 to 10 minutes to perform, to share your story, to share about your startup, about yourself, about what's the purpose, what's the motivator behind your startup, what change you do, what's the value, what's the service, what's the product, what are the market, the audience, the futures, all of the questions in your head. You go, the lights are shining, and you are not ready because you haven't practiced, and because this experience is unfamiliar, you go and you are fucked. Your nervous system again hijacks you. You fall back to your default state, which is rambling nervousness, talking without structure, without meaning, without emotions, and the interview finished and you're feeling exhausted, and you're feeling that you have failed again and again, and you have not delivered, you have not performed on your best scale. So what's the medicine here? What's the solution? It's practice. It's called Shift. It's a program where you condition your communication skills as if you condition your body, as if you condition your technical skills, your profession, your business. Is the same approach. Daily, conscious, aware tasks where you work on your voice, on your body language, on your storytelling frameworks, and you have now a structured training program in which you can apply everywhere, in any circumstance, in any situation, and in any context. And this time, when you fall back to your default state is not here, it's over there. And eventually, by practicing it, you move the needle above and above and above. And when you fall back, you fall back. You see, that's the difference. That's what makes the 1% distinguished. It's not a big change, but this little change is enough to feel comfortable, to enjoy to speak, to enjoy to improvise, to enjoy to deliver, to be in front of people, in front of cameras, in front of a big audience, or speak on a radio, on a podcast. It doesn't matter. Or even if you need, you have to just take your phone and self-tape yourself, and you will be comfortable, and you will save so much time. Another example, you hired a film crew to record your brand video, your brand message, your employer branding video, your product video, it doesn't matter. Your manifesto, there are so many types of videos in which you have to be transparent, you have to show yourself as a founder, as a manager, as a CEO, it doesn't matter, but you have to be in front of the camera. So the film crew comes, you pay thousands of euros per day, and they set up the lights, the cameras, and now it's your turn to shine, but you are not ready. So you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, hundreds of takes. And the director says, yeah, we'll manage to cut it, to edit it, yeah. So the entire day is gone. You worked hard for a couple of hours, and you know that you haven't delivered. You were again falling back to your default nervous system programming, where you are not in control, you are not aware about your voice, body language, storytelling skills, and you are missing a huge opportunity. So imagine if you have conditioned your skills and the crew comes and you record for first take what you had to deliver. Then you do another take, and you just hit the different goals with different messages, with different approach, with different voice, with different character. You pay for the film crew per day and you create not one type of content, but you deliver like 10 types of content in one day. And you feel energized, you don't feel tired or smashed from the shooting day. You are absolutely happy to continue your work, to continue meetings, to continue daily tasks. And that's the difference, my friend. That's the huge difference when we are talking about shift. When you practice and you install the program in your nervous system, then it's easy to come to sit in front of the cameras, in front of the lights, and just improvise for 5, 10, 15, 25, 60 minutes without even to get a little bit tired. On opposite, you can switch, you can take another take and you start to talk about the one most important thing about communication skills, which is connection. When you practice the shift program, you'll be able to connect with anybody and anything for very quick time, because you know what is the framework, the VIC framework, vulnerability, insight, call to action. You start to tell a story, the story about how you started your business, how you were broke and you walked on the streets and you were desperate because you couldn't pay your bills. You are looking for, when you are 40, to start again, and you feel miserable, alone, failed person, and all of a sudden you decided, on against any logic, you hear your voice. Hey man, that's the time now. You are free, you don't have any job, you don't have any occupation, you don't have anything to lose. Just go and do it. And you go, you write down the idea, and you start to raise money. And the other voice says, yeah, you cannot do this, it's terrible, you need to work for somebody, you have to be protected, secure payment, secure job. And you don't listen to this voice. And that's the biggest insight. You start to listen to the right voice in your head. And only if you take this insight from the entire program, then you'll be absolutely free till the end of your life, because your constant critical parent, anxious child, the society, the tribe, the expectation, the perfectionism, you won't pay even 5 seconds to those thoughts, ideas, and you just acknowledge them, become aware, and then they just go, and you go, continue to do your stuff. Like this story, the famous Zen master who was giving this podcast, and they asked him, but master, how do you make this in reality? How you protect your mind without negative thoughts? How you live without negative thoughts? And the master just sit there and with pace, with slow pace, with calm voice, he said, oh dear friend, I have much more negative thoughts than you, But the difference here is that I don't pay attention to them. I just observe them. I just watch them as a wave coming and going. And that's just for a second. And this shift program will train you to be the observant of these thoughts, ideas, emotions, feelings. And by practicing it daily, you become immortal. Your negative thoughts and ideas are not anymore impacting your life, impacting your decision, impacting your actions. Another example, why you should dedicate 2 days and then 90 days of practice. 2 days workshop and 90 days of daily practice. The reason is because anything important, fundamental, like a skill, like a change in your life, requires work. And not only work, it requires awareness, attention. It requires a feedback. It requires that you do the work, but then you review the work, and then you reflect on the work, and then you apply again everything what you have experienced the next day and again. And that's how mastery works in any field in life. This is the mastery loop. And because communication, it's a fundamental skill. It's a fundamental weapon. Without it, we are lost, we are miserable, we are desperate, we are weak. So, for example, you practice this, you start to apply it in your work, in your daily interactions, in your daily private, personal, professional relationships. You start to play with it. You'll get better, you'll get worse, but the improvement will be constant. And the compound interest of skills, feelings, emotions, awareness is like investment. The compound interest here is huge, because you won't be even aware after the 90 day how big a shift has happened. It's a neuromuscular, it's a biological, it's a chemical, it's a psychological, it's spiritual. Because you will work with breathing, with awareness, with attention, with voice, with body, with storytelling. You will relive the stories. And when you go to the monastery, you enter inside an ancient monastery, dark, only fire from the lights, from the candles. It smells to this aroma, the spiritual one. And then you sit near the monk and you start to share your story, that you have founded 5 companies, that you have done this and that, you have that and this. And all of a sudden the monk will ask you, do you know which is the biggest sin? Do you know which is the biggest sin in Christianity? And you'll be like, I don't know, I'm not sure why he's asking me this. That's the thought, but you cannot, because this is the sin, this is the environment, it's a special. And the monk continues, my child, the biggest sin is to be proud. And you'll be like, oh, okay, that's fine. And you go back and you say, man, I've done so many things. Businesses, personal success, private success stories. And now he told me that the biggest sin is to be proud. But with the shift program, we shift this. Instead of looking at ourselves, we start to shine the light outwards, like lighthouse. Like a lighthouse. And this is the biggest achievement, when you start to lose the importance of yourself, and all of the skills, endeavors, achievements, success stories, failures, all of your individual journey will be projected outwards towards the people, towards the individual with whom you're gonna share the knowledge, share the business, share the product, share the service. You become a lighthouse, a channel of energy towards betterness, towards creating value and shift the end goal. The end goal is for you to be transformed from a magnet of energy, a dark hole, to a lighthouse. And when you're a lighthouse, you don't care what people think. You don't care if that works or not. You have a goal and a purpose, and that is to light, to serve, to be there, to provide, to be in service. And what is business if not to be in value and in service to the other people? What is relationships if not to be in service? What is meditation if not to become the vessel of consciousness, to serve to the consciousness? And Shift manages to do this, and that's the end goal. So by just doing one program, which is super simple, what is it? You go to a workshop, you spend 2 days, full days, 70% practice, 30% theory. You taste the elixir, the possibility, the experience of the shift. Your awareness is lifted, your consciousness is opened up, and then you start to integrate this program for 90 days. Why 90 days? Because for 90 days, that's 3 months of 5 days per week. You install progressively, daily after day, with small experience, small exercises, but with attention, with the mastery whoop feedback, you get the program installed in your nervous system, and you change your experience, your feeling, your emotions, because when you expose daily in small doses to the uncomfortable experience of communicating, speaking, delivering, performance, you name it, being in front of camera, being in front of lights, being on a big stage, on a small stage, pitching, selling, communicating, listening, you raise the bar from your default situation, default setting. You upgrade. And next time when the stress appears, when you are under stress, under pressure, you won't fall down to the ground zero. You will be here on top of the mountain where you have moved, you have transformed, you have lifted your default setting. And that's the game change. And that's how you become 1% of the 1%. And that's how you become absolutely comfortable with yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, your energy. And that's how you become a lighthouse. You stop to leak energy, you stop to leak time, opportunities, and work. You become a lighthouse, channeling, and everything falls on the right. Everything is setting up, connecting the dots. This is the game changer, my friend. Why not? Why not? That's the question as well. I know it's difficult. You don't have time. It's not for you. It's not for right time. It's not for the money. The amount of money is super big, but that's not the right approach to look at the things. Why? Because that's an investment. Just with one working day, with one film crew, you will repay yourself. Just with one presentation or public speaking or podcast or TV interview, you will repay yourself. Just with the first closing deal, with the first friendship, with the first delivery of better value, of betterness, of humanity, of human touch. And the best thing is that you will shift your feelings. You will not experience any more anxiety, panic, stress. produced from expectation, perfectionism, from negative thoughts. You accept that you are as you are, and you share a story just to bring light, to make the shift. And why I'm telling you this story? Why I'm telling you all of this? Because I just want from you to do the first step, to believe that you deserve to shift, that you deserve to feel better, you deserve to be seen, to be heard, to be remembered, because your story is not only important, but through your story, through your service, through your product, through your work, you will make the world a better place for us, for the future generation, and for the past generation. And we are living in this kind of a verge on an age where if we are not improving our communication skills, if we are not improving our storytelling skills, we are losing the battle. We are losing the war against negativity, against hatred, against racism, against, you can imagine what. So that's the reason I'm doing this. And I think 22 minutes of talking. We can speak for many other stuff, but in short, condition your skills, condition your beat. In short, if you condition your communication skills, everything else will be conditioned. If you condition your communication skills, everything else will be conditioned. Your fitness, your mental state, your business, your personal relationships, your private relationships, your relationships with yourself. If that is not the biggest investment and the most important thing which you can do, I don't know what you can do. Because with one practice, one program, you solve all of the problems. Why? Somebody will say, that's impossible, this is stupid, this is fakery, this is absolutely bullshit. But I'll tell you why is the truth. Because we are working with the feel, sound, and look. The feel is your inner space, your inner life, in your inner reality. Your thoughts, ideas, conceptions, prejudices, your emotions, your feelings, which shape your reality. They materialize. Your thoughts are really materializing. Because your thoughts, your voice, your inner voice says, you cannot do this, don't do that, you cannot be this, you cannot be that. You are not worthy, you are not enough, you are not good enough, you are not perfect enough, you are not healthy enough, you are not good looking enough. You are not sexy enough. You are not smart enough. You don't deserve that. You don't deserve this. And imagine if you listen to this voice and you pay attention, what will be the reality? It's a misery. Constant unhappiness. It doesn't matter what you do, what you have achieved, what you have not. It doesn't matter. How successful, how not successful. How rich, how not rich. It doesn't matter. If your inner voice is destroying your experience of the reality. And we work with this. We have a structured, programmed counterattack on this thought process by attention, awareness, meditation, breathing, visualization. That's the program. And then we move to the outside, to the voice and to the body language. We work on our voice. Your character is your voice. Your perception of reality is your voice. Your interaction, your energy, your presence is your voice. And we practice, we play with it, we start to widen, to spread the range of your voice skills by working on the 5 fundamental elements. You practice them and everything starts to change, to shift. And then we move to the body language, how we look, how we stand, how we move, how we sit, how we feel in this body, how the energy is flowing, how it's channeling or is not channeling, how relaxed, how stressful, how anxious is the body. So imagine look, sound, and feel, and we practice simple practices, as if we are doing push-ups or pull-ups, and it works. When we condition those 3, we put the cherry on the cake, storytelling framework. You structure your meaning, your logic. You structure your meaning, and by structuring your meaning, you start to connect your ideas, your thoughts with the audience. And not only connecting them by reasoning them, but because you have mastered the feel, sound, and look, and now with the storytelling structured delivery of information, you start to manipulate, to play, to perform, to reenact, to relieve the emotions. And then when you put the emotions inside, the feelings, the expressiveness, the reality is different. And nobody can ignore you, nobody can stop you, nobody can reject you. And if even they ignore, reject, and block you, you will feel okay with that. Because you started with this default setting of fulfillment, of awareness, of energy, because you are the lighthouse. And you don't mind if somebody reject to be guided by the lighthouse. It's all right. It's up to them. But you have done your best, and you have done it, and you have felt your best, and you have performed your best possible just by doing it. Practice, practice, practice. That's in short shift, conditioning for happiness. Cheers.